I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into a suspenseful blend of espionage, romance, and international mystery. The name of the book, A Cat's Game. It's written by a terrific author. His name is Dr. John W. Shepard Jr. The book follows Katherine Grant, a young Department of Commerce employee whose 2-week European business trip spirals into a life or death mission of survival, love, and deception. Set against the backdrop of 1971 Washington, D.C., Austria and Bulgaria, this thrilling novel pulls readers into a world of secrets, castle hideouts, and Cold War danger, where trust is scarce and love may be the ultimate risk. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Bookside Press for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
You're certainly welcome, and thank you for inviting me into your little home there.
Glad to have you here. Glad you still make house calls. This is a terrific book that you have written, a
Thank you.
very real, a thrilling thriller, as I like to say. How much of the story is based on either real life events or people?
It is probably about three-fourths in actuality, maybe a half to three-fourths. I grew up in Washington, D.C., and
Mm.
Arlington, Virginia. And my father was director of export and control for the Department of Commerce. And my grandmother owned a hotel in Northwest Washington. So I spent a lot of time in DC and visiting dad and canoeing down the Potomac and all of these things. And so I thought, what could I write that I really could bring home from my own experiences? And so I started writing it. And then I thought, now I'm going to put a little bit of me in there.
Mhm.
So Kat obviously is a woman, and I'm obviously a man, even though these days that is questionable. But yeah, so I just said I'm going to put myself in there when I was 21 in 1971, and then I'm going to bring in my friends and other people, and then I'm going to have some adventure.
Mhm.
And so unfortunately, my wife was very ill at the time, so I would lay by her side in the hospital, and I would just write and
Mhm.
write and write. And every time she woke up, I'd talk with her, and then when she'd fall asleep again, I'd write. So
Mhm.
before you knew it, I had a novel.
Wow, amazing. Let's give the folks at home an overview of A Cat's Game.
Sure. Well, it starts out with this young bureaucrat, Kat, walking down one of the streets right by where my dad worked at the Department of Commerce, Constitution Avenue. And she's walking along. She'd had a very nice lunch, and her hair was flowing. It was a beautiful summer day. And she's walking along, and this derelict guy comes up to her and says, Hey, can I have some money? And she goes, Oh, okay. So she pulls out $1 and gives it to him. And then he leans over and goes, Watch your back. You're in danger. And she goes, Huh? And then he disappears.
Wow.
And then she goes in and other things. I don't want to reveal too much, but like there's some hidden notes on her desk. And then people leave the office and she stays a little late. Somebody follows her to her car. Then she gets back home and everything is real. All the streets, the apartment which she lived in, that's where my parents lived when they were first married.
Mhm.
So all of these things happen. She looks out the window and there's somebody out there looking at her from across the street. And she calls the police, and then the police come and they bring the guy up to her room and they say, Hey, you're in danger. So he actually worked for the CIA, the fellow.
Mhm.
And so now she doesn't know what to do. So eventually, I'll skip ahead.
Mhm.
They This man comes to her parents' house. She was supposed to meet her parents, and he says, "I'm working for the CIA. My name is Ted Vaughn, and you need to come with me." And she doesn't want to go, but she has no choice. And he tells her that we've taken your parents in custody. So until you cooperate, you have to, we're not going to let go of them. And they are in danger, and so are you.
Hmm.
So eventually they go to the Dulles airport, and this is where the romance comes in. He he orders room service, and then they get some wine, and before you know it, they're sitting on the sofa. And am I telling you too much?
No,
Is
no,
this
no. It's great. No, it's
okay?
great.
Okay. They're sitting on the sofa. Before you know it, they're in each other's arms, and a lot of romance. And she hadn't really dated anyone since high school that she liked, and he hadn't dated anyone. So there was this instant rush. And I get a little bit graphic,
Mhm.
not too graphic, but
Yeah.
you get a sense of what happened.
Right.
In fact, the compliments that I've had is wherever you go in the book, you feel like you're there. Because
Mm.
I talk about the furniture, I talk about the people, what they look like. I'm a psychologist, so this comes very easily
Yeah.
to me. And anyway, so then they get on a plane, and he leaves her at the airport. He goes. She's trying to get to Bulgaria, but they stop in Austria for a minute, and she gets off, and this woman starts talking to her and befriends her. And so they're in Austria, and then she goes, "Oh, we missed the plane. Oh my gosh."
Mhm.
So they go to this castle because she knows the guy, the Baron, who runs the castle. And they spend the night there, and they have a wonderful time. But then people break in and try to abduct her. So the Baron and another police officer fight them off, and they get a helicopter, and they get on the helicopter, and they go to the airport, and they go to Bulgaria, and they get off. And someone picks her up at the plane. Everything's a little shady,
Mhm.
but guess what? At the hotel, she gets kidnapped. They put chloroform over her face, and they take her away. And when she wakes up, she's in the hospital, and they're telling her that she's someone else.
Mhm.
My daughter's name is Jennifer, so they call her Jennifer. And she goes, "That is not my name. My name is Kat." They go, "No, it isn't." And they go over it and try to brainwash her. But guess what? The CIA agent shows up, and they break loose, and they run all around in the castle, and they get outside, and they have a big gunfight. And then a limo comes and picks them up, and they whip off, and being chased. And then they get into the woods, and they're supposed to be rescued. But guess what? A armored car comes and starts shooting at them. But
Wow.
just as they're about to die, the helicopter comes and picks them up, takes them to the airport. And guess what? They get home. And then the last thing you hear is "to be continued." So I'm working on the next novel.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's an amazing story, and there's a lot in between that you didn't tell us. So there's a lot there to read, of course, as well. It's a little Alfred Hitchcockian in a way. I could
Yeah.
see Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn as, the two protagonists. Have you envisioned this as a film or a TV series,
Yes, I do.
something like that?
I think it'd go right into a film. I'm
Mhm.
hoping that I could write the screenplay or help someone write the screenplay
Yeah,
and get that on there, because I want you, every chapter, I kind of leave you on the edge.
yeah,
And I love Cary Grant. What was that movie with Audrey Hepburn? Masquerade.
yeah,
Anyway, that was a wonderful movie.
yeah.
And she said to him, "You know what's wrong with you?" And he says, "What?" "Nothing."
That's a great line. I'm going to have to remember that one. That's good. You get your charm from Cary Grant. That's always a good thing.
Cary Grant, yes.
Cary Grant, yes. Judy, 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 although he never
Judy,
said that.
Judy.
Yeah. Wonderful. Really, you must have had a blast writing this book. It must have been a trip down memory lane in some ways, recalling the 70s and then also coming up with these terrific, unique adventures as well.
I have a birthday coming up,
Mhm.
and it just shows that you never get too old for something. I've
Yeah.
written lots of articles and think books, but I've never written a novel, and it just came so naturally. I was so pleased to be able to sit down and just have the words come.
Yeah.
And so no matter how old you are, don't give up. You got a whole future ahead of you.
Exactly, exactly. Nobody knows how much more time they've got. The 22-year-old doesn't know, and the 62-year-old doesn't know. So just go out there, pursue your dreams, have fun, keep living every day like there's no tomorrow. And I think
Absolutely.
that is good advice. Tell us about the sequel. Have you finished writing it? Are you working on it now?
I'm working on it. It's called A Cat's Game 2,
Mhm.
TOO.
Okay,
And
great.
so I pick it up where she's got a normal life. She's dating, his name is, the CIA agent is Ted,
Mhm.
and she's dating him some. She lives near her parents in Arlington.
We have lost your audio there. Hey, Chad. We lost your audio. We can't hear you right now. One, two, three. Let's see.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Okay, so pick it up. Let's pick it up with the name of the new book. Okay, so tell us a little bit about the sequel. How's that coming?
Well, it's coming. I've got maybe the first chapter written where I set the stage. For a long time, I couldn't decide whether to have it come dramatically as the first book did. But I've decided that she's just going to be settled into her home, her apartment in Arlington. She's going to be dating the CIA agent. Her parents are going to be nearby. And then, you have this pristine situation. And then gradually, she's going to start noticing that things aren't going the way they
Mm,
should. That this is strange and this is strange. And
yeah,
then I'm going to pull her back in. I haven't decided whether it be Bulgaria. I think it should be exotic,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
that's about as far as I've got.
Well, that sounds great. Always going to an exotic locale makes the readers feel like they're there, which of course is fun as well. The book we've been talking about today is called A Cat's Game. It is an amazing story that follows Katherine Grant, a young Department of Commerce employee whose 2-week European business trip spirals into a life or death mission of survival, love, and deception. It is set against a backdrop of 1971 Washington, D.C., Austria and Bulgaria. It is a thrilling novel that pulls readers into a world of secrets, castle hideouts, and Cold War danger, where trust is scarce and love may be the ultimate risk. And if you love this book, a sequel will be coming, and you can find out more. The links are below this interview. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us here today on
You're
Spotlight.
so welcome. I'm honored.
Honored to have you on the show. Great work with this novel. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.